today is all about some big steaks. Now, when I think of big steaks, there's a couple that come to mind. Top is the tomahawk ribeye, you know, the ribeye with that big long bone. But what we're going to be working with today is sometimes called the cowboy ribeye. It's a bone-in ribeye with a shorter bone. And that's what we have right here. Now, they actually left this bone quite a bit longer than in just a traditional cowboy ribeye. Usually, here's the tomahawk. This is a pretty long bone. Now, is there any reason for the bone? Well, it looks kind of cool. Some people think it adds flavor. I don't know about that. I love boneless ribeyes. I think they taste great, but this is what we're making today. These are USDA choice bone-in ribeyes. Now, one of these is thicker than the other, so tomorrow, when we grill these up, because we're seasoning them today, the temperature probe I'm going to use is going to go in the smaller one because that will tell me when this one is done first and I can pull it off so we don't overcook that. So let's go ahead and get these seasoned up. I'm going to be using my smoky sweet rub because really these are almost the size of a roast. I mean, these are a ribeye roast that's just cut into sections. So I'm treating these like steak/roasts. And I am going to use a little bit of a binder here. I'm using a Worcestershire sauce, and this is a very thick one that I get at my Sprouts Market. Get a little on there. Just rub all around here, both sides. Just something to help that rub stick when the surface is a little dry. If you watch enough of my videos, you know I usually don't use a binder because I find that most of the time there's enough moisture, but when there isn't, I will use a binder. We're just going to get a good coating on here. I do like a big hunk of meat that has a handle built in. All right, I'm happy with that. This is going to go in the refrigerator, and then tomorrow, like I said, I'll see you out at the grill where we're going to give these some nice time with some smoke. Probably give them a quick sear if they need it at the end there. Sometimes I've seen it where they don't need it, they just look beautiful. But we'll play it by ear. That's what part of the fun of this is. All right, the Weber kettle is up to temp. My target today is between 250 and 275. I've got the Mallory firewall in there with an indirect zone and a direct zone setup, and I'm using the Mallory cast iron grate. Don't have any water in there today. We've got a pretty kind of humid day. We'll get some hickory chunks on in just a minute for some smoke, but let's get these cowboy ribeyes on. So this is our smaller one. That's where the temp probe is going to go. It's our larger one. Some hickory chunks on here. My temperature probe in here. I have my temperature alarm set for 123 degrees internal. That is when we're going to start searing. So when this small one hits 123 degrees, we'll sear it, pull it off. Same thing for the larger one. We'll do that one a few minutes later. So let's get our lid on, get smoking. I'll see you back here when we get close to that 123 internal. All right, we're at the 1 hour mark. We're not at that 123 degrees that I'm going to sear at. We're at about 98 degrees internal, but I want to take a look at these and see maybe do they need a spritz. Those are looking really good. Good smell too. They're not super dry, but I do see a few dry spots, so I'm just going to spritz these with plain water. And you can see with these taking an hour just to get to this point, these are really more like roasts. They are monster steaks. So we're going to get the lid back on, let these keep going at 123, right around there. We're going to come back and sear. All right, we are just at about 123 degrees internal, and I want to get the other cast iron wing on here so we can do direct grilling over those coals. Move our charcoal around a little bit here. And now I want to move the temperature probe from the smaller steak to the larger one. And that's just as I expected, about 10 degrees lower. Go ahead and sear up our first steak. And the reason I'm doing it at like 123 degrees is after that sear, carryover temp is going to bring that up to that 130-ish that I want for the final temperature. Let's give this a turn. Again, that's a great thing about a steak with its own handle. You want to see doing a quick spot check with the temp here. Let me see if we can see this. That's showing about 125 degrees. So by the time we pull this and it rests for about 20 to 30 minutes, carryover is going to bring that to that perfect temp. Just looking for a little color here. We're almost there. That is looking good to me. All right, I'm going to get this steak off, and as soon as the other one hits temp, I'm going to go ahead and sear that up, and I will see you inside. All right, here is that cowboy ribeye. It has been resting for about 20 minutes. The color on it turned out exactly the way I want. Let me turn this a little so you can see that too. Just amazing. Now I could sit here and just talk about how the process was. It went great, or we can cut into it and have a taste. Oh, that just looks so good. Now I could separate it completely from the bone here, but I'm not going to. I'm actually just going to cut straight across first. Let's see. Oh yeah. Now the cameras often don't get this, but this is a nice pink right there, if you can see that. Oh, let me slide this over here, and I am going to slice some right here. I'll just get a nice piece right here that we can taste. Oh yeah. Wow, that is just what I wanted. Cut a few pieces here. I've been waiting for this for a while today, so cheers. I just love it when you can get great smoke flavor on a steak. I mean, traditionally steaks are the things you throw on there. You grill one side, grill the other, take it off and eat it. But if it's big enough and you can give it some time on there with that smoke, whether you choose hickory like I did today, or post oak or red oak, or anything you like, it just adds another level of flavor to the steak. Now this was a USDA choice cut, not prime, but it's got really good flavor in there. Obviously in prime, you're gonna get some more. You got some more of that marbling in there. But again, if you can give it a little bit of a slower approach, especially on these big cuts like this cowboy ribeye. Now on this, I used my smoky sweet rub, but you could use any rub you want, any favorite you have that would go good with beef, or just some salt and pepper, maybe some SPG, salt, pepper, garlic powder. It's a big hunk of meat, so don't be shy with the seasoning. It can handle it. And I really do love giving it that time overnight to really get more of that seasoning absorbed. So if you have the time to do that, go ahead and do that. But whatever you do, when you grill up a steak like this, enjoy it.